How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with a little bit of tweener homebrew. We've covered these guys before in the form of Time and Material Brewing. It is their Saisons Don't Sell. This 6.3% Saison. It was packaged 2/23/2020. This is the 6th of March, so it's relatively fresh. And that be it. Made exclusively with hops from 4 Star Farms. Check this beer on the tap and tag us on Instagram. Yeah. So like I said, I mean, when you're getting kind of this kind of label, that kind of stuff going on, it's really hard to kind of say they're kind of homebrew, but they're a small brewery, trying to make it good, trying to work up from what they're doing now. Let's see what the sucker has. So these will go up in Homebrew Wednesday, even though they're kind of a little bit elevated beyond that, but because I need content for Homebrew Wednesday. So there you go. Anyway, label-wise, it's cool. I mean, I talked about it last time. It kind of has this kind of like, I don't know, medieval kind of Saints Row video game kind of font thing going on. I'm not going to sit here and say I hate it, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say I'll dig it. I like the little added money sign for sell. So bonus points for being clever. Now, you're talking about a Saison and go in multiple different directions. This doesn't look overtly hazy. It's got a subtle haze to it. Not a huge amount of carbonation. That head is white as white could be, about a half to a quarter pinky finger white head. And it's weird. It almost has like a sour, kind of a kettle sour kind of look to it. Saisons tend to come off a little bit more vibrant yellow for me. This one is just a little bit kind of murkier, a little bit darker, not necessarily in the haze side of things, but as far as the malt side of things go. So if she looks like a Saison, sure. Looks more kind of, I don't know, like I said, kind of kettle soury to me. Let's get a nose. I mean, that is Saison through and through in the nose. You get a little bit of soft bubblegum that's really kind of backed up by a decent amount of kind of soft white peppery notes. There's a little bit of like a fruit characteristic to it that comes off very like, if you take like a melon or even like a peach or something like that, when I go to check when those fruits are fresh, typically what I'll do is, you push and smell. That's kind of how I do almost with all fruit. So, just for example, I'll take a cantaloupe, you kind of get to the navel part of it, not the big indentation, the other side of it, give that a good push and give it a whiff. Typically, the amount of pressure you put on there and what you smell is going to kind of let you know what you're dealing with as far as ripeness of that kind of melon. That's what this kind of smells like, is that combination of that little bit of fruit coming through. It's almost like an underripened kind of melon characteristic with that rind portion kind of floating around in there. So it's kind of cool how that's playing. Yeah, a little bit of soft pepperiness, a little bit of the soft kind of underripened kind of rindy fruitiness. Done and done. Let's dive in. Cheers. Okay, that bubblegum definitely comes up way more in the actual taste than it does in nose. There's a cool kind of almost like wheat-like cereal graininess on the other end of things. Now, in between all of that, a little bit undercarbed. Not that you're expecting like crazy carbonation, but typically when you're talking about Saisons, I like them to be not effervescent, but a little bit more carbonated than this. It's probably my biggest knock on it. That white peppery component builds up, starts to kind of converge into something a little bit more meaningful, like a white pepper, like a pink peppercorn, something like that, but stops short of being that kind of black pepper. Yeah, that fruit portion of the show does kind of follow through in the actual taste. It's probably equal to or maybe a skosh less than on the nose, but with everything else kind of building up, it gets lost a little bit, but it's still kind of there. I dig, that bubblegum ester that you can get on a lot of wheat beers. There has to be a wheat base on this, at least some portion of it. I believe the guys from T&M kind of sent me all the tasting notes and stuff like that, and I appreciate when people do that, but I actually save it till after I'm done drinking the beer, so there's no kind of influence on it. So I'll probably know the actual base of the beer from there, but it drinks nice. It definitely has that kind of soft bubblegum vibes without getting too kind of overly sweet or too kind of confectionery. I do like that that peppery kind of elevation where it goes from that kind of a white pepper to kind of like more of a pink peppercorny kind of vibe, and that subtle kind of fruitiness float around the middle. Like I said, the biggest knock for me on this is going to be the carbonation. It just comes up a little bit short for where I want it to be. Such is life. I think I'll deal. But it's nice, tasty, well-made. Mouthfeel outside of the carbonation is on point. It's tasty beer. I mean, this is the kind of beers that I really do like to chug. I guess I would say the only other knock I would give this is 6.3%. It's not a big ABV, but I like my Saisons to be really low ABV. I like everything to be low ABV. What am I saying? But yeah, it's tasty, drinkable. It's almost like a share kind of Saison because it's impactful enough to kind of carry itself, and I'm cool with half a can of this instead of a whole can in my head, but this one will definitely not go to waste. The whole thing will be drank, and it's really probably one of the better examples of Saison that I've had in that kind of pseudo homebrew / homebrew kind of world. Very tasty stuff. So yeah, there you go. Don't do the whole spiel on the homebrewer beers. Just kind of say whether I like them or not. I think it's good. If I'm going to say anything about this beer, it's going to be that carbonation and the EBV. Not that 6.3% is big. That's probably a little bit more in line with traditional. Just nowadays, I like my Saisons to be super chuggers. But really, the biggest thing here is just a lack of carbonation. It's carbonated just a little bit lower than where I'd like it to be. So there you go. A little homebrew review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you do like these, you're more than welcome to send off some homebrew my way. They'll find themselves up on the Homebrew Wednesday. You can send me an email, massivebeers@gmail.com. Words are hard. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, it is Massive Beers. Type that in the whole Googs, a Beer Massive. You can type that in the Googs, see me doing the podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of homebrew right now, and hopefully see you next time. Cheers.